What if your cornfield grew so fast even the raccoons tried to quit? At midnight, they slipped through the fence like tiny masked criminals. By sunrise, they were celebrating. By lunch, they were sitting in the dirt with round bellies surrounded by corn, taller than a house, holding half-eaten ears like they had made a terrible personal decision. And by sunset, one raccoon was trapped inside a corn maze that did not exist that morning. At first, it looks funny. Then the field blocks the driveway. Then it covers the irrigation road. Then the stalks grow over the tractor shed. And somewhere in the middle of the farm, a raccoon raises one ear of corn like a white flag. In real life, this could not happen. Corn grows fast compared to many crops, but it still needs a season. It needs sunlight, water, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, healthy soil, and time. A real corn plant cannot compress months of growth into one day without paying a price. But in this scenario, your family farm in the American Midwest has changed. Not by magic, by a strange experimental soil system your late father helped test before he passed away. The seeds look ordinary, the field looks ordinary, but under the soil there is a network of engineered microbes, buried moisture sensors, mineral injectors, and a biological activator that speeds up the corn's growth cycle. Inside this farm, the corn grows about 300 times faster than normal. Outside the farm, it grows like regular corn. That means if someone steals the seed and plants it across the road, nothing special happens. Without the farm as soil microbes, nutrient pulses, irrigation rhythm, and activation system, the corn slows back down. The miracle has a fence around it. And that fence is the only reason this story does not become a disaster movie immediately. The first morning begins with a sound, a dry whisper rolling across the field, thousands of leaves unfolding at once. Stalks push upward, tassels appear, silk threads spill out, ears swell under green husks. Kernels begin filling with starch before anyone can understand what they are seeing. Your farm manager calls you and says, "Oh, you need to come outside." You step onto the porch. The field is moving, not waving, growing. Rows of corn are rising in real time, turning flat farmland into a green wall stretching toward the horizon. For about 10 minutes, you feel rich. Then reality arrives wearing muddy boots, because growing corn 300 times faster does not mean harvesting corn 300 times faster. The first harvest is ready before your crew even finishes breakfast. The second harvest begins forming before the first one is cleared. The combines run until they overheat. The grain carts fill. The trucks fill. The storage bins fill. Then the wet corn starts piling up in places corn should never be. Machine sheds, tarped parking lots, empty barns, and one section of the driveway that your insurance company later calls an agricultural hazard. You call every worker you know. Then every neighbor, then every cousin, then a staffing agency that thinks you are joking. By nightfall, the farm is not a miracle. It is a traffic jam made of corn. The raccoons are no longer stealing. They are watching. Even they seem concerned. And then the second problem appears. The next wave of corn grows wrong. The stalks are pale, some are thin, some bend under their own weight. Some ears are small, with missing kernels and dry tips. The farm is producing corn too quickly for the soil to recover. Nitrogen crashes, potassium drops, moisture disappears. The microbes become unbalanced. Your miracle field starts coughing up weak, hungry plants. And suddenly, you remember something your father used to say: soil does not forgive shortcuts. That sentence hits harder than the lost harvest. Because this was his farm. He left it to you with old equipment, unpaid repairs, a few experimental notes, and one sealed account he told you to use only if the farm was ever truly in trouble. You used to think that meant drought or debt or a bad season. You never imagined it would mean too much corn. But now the farm is in trouble. So you open the account, and instead of buying a new truck, or a bigger house, or pretending you are already rich, you make the smartest decision of your life. You pay people who know more than you. First, you hire a soil scientist from a major agricultural university, then a plant physiologist, then a grain logistics expert, then a food processing consultant, then a tax attorney, then a CFO, who walks into the field, sees an exhausted combine surrounded by corn piles, and says, "You are not running a farm, you are running an emergency with photosynthesis." That becomes the first company motto. The professor gives you the bad news first. The corn can grow 300 times faster. But it cannot create matter from nothing. Every stalk, leaf, cob, and kernel is built from water, carbon, minerals, and energy. If the system pushes growth too hard, the plants steal nutrients faster than the farm can replace them. That is why the second wave was weak. The corn was not failing. The system was starving. So the professor changes the rule. No more unlimited growth. The field is divided into zones. Each zone gets a growth schedule. Some rows accelerate, some rows rest, some rows feed microbes, some rows are cut for biomass before producing kernels. The farm stops behaving like a wild miracle. It becomes a controlled machine. That is when you begin to understand the real business. The money is not in growing the most corn. The money is in deciding which corn should exist. Perfect ears go to food. High-starch corn goes to industrial processing. Damaged corn goes to animal feed. Stalks and leaves go to biomass. Cobs go to materials. Waste goes to energy. And weak plants, they become data. Your professor loves that part. Every failed batch tells you what the soil lacked, what the microbes needed, and what the next cycle should change. The farm becomes smarter with every mistake, but you still have another problem. You cannot sell raw corn fast enough. Buyers want stable delivery. They do not want one mountain today and a mystery tomorrow. Grain companies negotiate hard. Trucking costs explode. Drying costs are brutal. And wet corn can spoil faster than your accounting software can open. So you stop trying to sell a crop. You start building a company. With your father emergency money, your first profits, and a very uncomfortable loan, you build a processing facility beside the farm. At first, it is simple. Dryers, grinders, silos, packaging lines, then it grows. Cornmeal, corn flour, tortilla chips, popcorn, breakfast cereal, frozen corn, canned corn, cornstarch, corn syrup, animal feed pellets, corn oil, biodegradable packing foam, compostable utensils, bioplastic feedstock, and fuel-grade biomass for energy partners. Suddenly, the corn that almost ruined you has somewhere to go. If it is dry, grind it. If it is sweet, process it. If it is starchy, refine it. If it is ugly, feed animals with it. If it is too damaged, send it to biogas. If it is stalks and husks, turn it into packaging. Your farm no longer has trash, it has departments. Even the corn cobs have a business plan. The raccoons become unofficial product testers if they break into the snack warehouse. Your marketing team marks that product as highly attractive to consumers with tiny hands. The professor hates that phrase. The internet loves it. By the end of the first month, you are not selling corn anymore. You are selling outcomes. Food, snacks, animal feed, industrial starch, biopackaging, renewable energy, agricultural data, and controlled growth technology. The smartest part is that you do not sell the miracle seed. That would be the fastest way to lose control. Instead, you license the system. A snack company can license a chip-grade corn module. A food manufacturer can license flour-grade corn. A packaging company can license high-starch biomass. An energy company can license fast-growing non-food biomass. But nobody gets the full system without your soil protocol. Microbial activator, nutrient schedule, moisture sensors, growth software, and safety monitoring. Outside that system, the corn is normal. Inside that system, the corn becomes a machine. That is your safety feature and your business mode. Local news arrives first. The headline writes itself. Farmer grows a season of corn in one day. Then national media arrives. Then investors. Then regulators. Then university researchers. Then a government inspector. Then a guy in sunglasses who says he is just here to observe, which is never something you want to hear near experimental corn. The raccoons become famous too. A drone catches one sitting on a corn pile, looking completely defeated. The caption says, "When the buffet fights back, your brand team wants a serious name." You call the company Hypercorn. Everyone in the room nods. Then your cousin says, "What about Hypercorn?" Everyone groans. The internet chooses Hypercorn, so Hypercorn becomes the public brand. And Rapid Kernel becomes the company name that goes on investor documents. This is when the story changes again. Because a normal farmer sells what the land gives him. You are now selling what the system can schedule. That means your company can promise something almost no farm can promise. Growth on demand. Need high-starch corn for packaging next week? Zone 4 can do it. Need animal feed after a regional shortage? Zone 7 can switch. Need fresh sweet corn for a summer grocery promotion? Zone 2 gets a different nutrient pulse. Need biomass for energy? Cut the stalks early and regrow. You are no longer just harvesting. You are programming a field. But the professor warns you not to get arrogant. Fast growth is dangerous growth. The faster the plants grow, the more fragile the system becomes. One moisture error can stunt an entire zone. One microbial imbalance can turn healthy roots weak. One heat wave can turn a perfect field into a dry wall of stress. One pest outbreak can spread through young tissue faster than workers can respond. So you reinvest not in sports cars, not in a mansion, not in pretending you are a billionaire because a news channel called you the Corn King. You invest in control, closed-loop water recovery, nutrient recycling, soil sensors, drone imaging, disease detection, robotic harvesters, backup power, fire prevention, cold storage, grain drying capacity, food safety systems, worker safety training, and a research lab named after your father. That last part matters, because the farm did not become successful when the corn grew fast. It became successful when you admitted you did not understand it yet. That is what makes the owner smart. Not that he has all the answers, but that he knows when to call the professor. Then Shark Tank calls. The producers want raccoons. Your lawyer says no. The producers ask if one raccoon can sit on the table. Your insurance company says absolutely not. So you walk onto the stage alone. In your hands, you carry one ear of corn, one bag of tortilla chips, one box of corn cereal, one sheet of cornstarch packaging, and one small biodegradable spoon. You say, "I am not here to sell corn. I am here to sell programmable harvest time." The sharks laugh. Then they stop laughing. You explain the rule. Inside your controlled farm system, corn grows up to 300 times faster. Outside the system, it grows normally. That means the technology is productive. are but contained. Then you explain the mistake. At first, we tried to grow as much as possible. We nearly destroyed the soil. Some of our corn came out pale, weak, and almost worthless. That failure taught us the business model. The sharks lean in because investors love growth, but they trust control. You explain the money. Raw corn creates cash flow. Chips and cereals create brand value. Corn flour and starch create industrial customers. Biopackaging creates sustainability appeal. Animal feed creates steady demand. Biogas creates energy savings. Sensors create data. Patents create leverage. Licensing creates scale, and the professor creates credibility. One shark asks, so what are you really selling? You say, not corn, not seeds, not even speed. We sell controlled abundance. That line goes viral. The episode explodes online, not because of your valuation. Because during the pitch, the screen shows drone footage from the first failed week. Corn piles rotting under tarps, workers running out of space, pale, nutrient-starved plants bending in the field. Then the footage changes. Sensors, zones, robotic harvesters, processing lines, chips, flour, starch, packaging. Biogas, a night shot of the field glowing under carefully timed lights. It does not look like a farm anymore. It looks like the future learning from its first mistake. After Shark Tank, you raise capital, but you are smarter now. You do not expand blindly. You license slowly. You require soil recovery systems. You require safety audits. You require every partner to prove that the corn cannot accelerate outside the approved environment. You invest profits into boring, powerful things. Logistics, energy storage, farmland, water rights, food tech startups, and one extremely boring index fund your CFO calls the Anti-Raccoon Fund. Nobody understands the name, but it makes him happy by the end of the first year. You are rich, very rich, but you are not rich because the corn grew fast. You are rich because the first disaster scared you enough to become disciplined. The farm that almost drowned in corn became a platform. The professor's research became patents. The factory became revenue. The failed pale corn became data. The inheritance from your father became the seed money for an industry, and the field became something stranger than agriculture. It became a question. How much abundance can humans handle before abundance becomes a burden? One night, you stand at the edge of the farm. Outside the fence, the world is normal. Grass grows slowly. Trees wait patiently. The neighbor's field sleeps under the moon. Inside your boundary, the corn is rising in scheduled waves. Not wild, not perfect, controlled. In the distance, the factory lights glow. Kernels become chips. Starch becomes packaging. Stalks become fuel. Waste becomes energy. And somewhere in the dark, a raccoon sees one more ear of corn. R pauses and quietly walks away. That is when you understand your father's warning. Soil does not forgive shortcuts, but it does reward people who learn. The real question was never, can fast corn make you rich? The real question was, can you become smart fast enough to manage what nature gives you? Because nature at normal speed feeds us. Nature at 300 times speed tests us. And if life ever grows faster than our wisdom, the smartest person in the room is not the one who harvests the most. It is the one who knows when to let the field rest. Thanks for watching. Comment your favorite what if idea below and subscribe to support the channel and catch the next strange, smart video.